We're live. Cool. Okay, I think we've got about 22 people join now, so we're in good shape to start. I guess folks will join as we progress. Welcome everybody. My name is Stephen Kenealy. I'm the Managing Director of Brave the Skies. Today we're going to be talking about the growth journey of Live Unlimited with two folks from Live Unlimited, Lauren Mason and Stephen Wade. And with me on stage at the start, I've also got George and Mairead from Klevu and Klaviyo, two technologies that have been integrated into the Live Unlimited site. And we're going to get their insights into their technologies later on in the talk today. First of all, maybe we might just do quick introductions, and the guys can talk a little bit about their company and the role they're in. So Lauren first.
Yes, of course. Hi, everybody. I am Lauren Mason. I am the Marketing Director for Live Unlimited.
And Steph.
I'm Steph. I'm the Head of Ecom for Live Unlimited.
And George.
Hi, I am George Underwood. I'm a Senior Partner Manager for Klaviyo.
And Mairead.
Last but not least, hi, I'm Mairead and I head up EMEA Partnerships at Klevu.
Great. Guys, so George and Mairead are going to step away and they're going to join us a little bit later on for the Q&A. So thanks, guys. So I guess, first of all, kind of thanks to our partners, Klevu and Klaviyo and Shopify, who've also kind of supported this event, and to Imp and Maker for providing the brunch hampers. I know a number of folks have been lucky enough to get those hampers, I think including Lauren and Steph. So I hope all dietary requirements were met and you enjoy those this afternoon or right now if you decide to partake. What we're going to be covering today is, I guess, the background to Live Unlimited, the story of the brand, its foundational kind of starting point, its mission, its vision, looking at their technology stack and how it started and how it's progressed over the last few years and how they've added value through technology more recently. And then we're going to have a discussion at the end, a little Q&A at the end. Folks, as and when you get thoughts of questions that you'd like to ask Lauren, Steph, myself, or the guys from Klevu and Klaviyo, feel free to drop them into the chat and we'll pick them up at the end. We've got Amy joining at the end to kind of read through some of those questions. So yeah, we'll hold off till the end. We're going to spend about 45 minutes chatting through the Live Unlimited story, and then we're going to spend 15 minutes at the end answering your questions. So first of all, I'll turn to Lauren. And Lauren, maybe you can give us a little bit of background to the brand, the mission, the customer of Live Unlimited.
Yes, of course. So for those that don't know, we are Live Unlimited. We are a plus-size women's wear brand, all about inclusivity and making sure that all women, no matter what their size, can have clothes that fit and flatter their curves. So we encourage all women to live life unlimitedly, which is where the name Live Unlimited came from. So the journey for Live Unlimited started probably like 30 years ago. Our founders, Rachel and Tracy, met in the fashion industry. Rachel worked for a manufacturer. She manufactured clothing to the high street, and Tracy was actually a buyer for very well-known plus-size brand Evans. They were in their 20s, wanted to start their own business, thought, you know, that like 20s positive energy, we can do anything better than anyone else. So quit their jobs and started a clothing manufacturer called Cover Up Clothing. They manufactured clothing for the high street for 20 years, manufactured for the likes of Debenhams, Arcadia, and lots of popular women's wear brands. And in 2012, I think Tracy was just really, really frustrated by the curve offering. She's always been a curvy woman herself, size 16, 18. And she could never find clothes that fitted her frame. A lot of brands were going up to a size 16 or 18, but nothing was fitting the way that she wanted to fit. So knowing everything they know about manufacturing garments that are good quality, they decided to start their own brand. Like I said, fit, very, very important. So the manufacturing was always there from the beginning, but it was the branding and the true retail side of things which took a little bit longer. So we had about 5 years of selling the brand wholesale into some partners. And then in 2017, we just thought, look, this is an amazing brand. We've got a massive mission. We want every woman to feel her best version of herself. We want every woman to celebrate themselves. No woman should feel like she can't get clothes that fit and flatter. We've got to scale this brand and show it to the women that deserve clothing. I mean, everyone deserves to feel fabulous in what they wear. So in 2017, we launched our D2C site on Magento. We had 2 years of being on Magento, which were difficult years. And then in 2019, we launched our first Shopify site, which was very fun. It was a very different brand then. And it was like a friend of a friend's, like ex-boyfriend who kind of built it. It was all a bit dodgy in terms of the way that we were trying to work it. We didn't really know much about e-com at all, but suddenly launched on Shopify and kind of just grew with that. We grew in COVID. And yeah, I know we're going to talk about our rebuild, which is very exciting, which started last year. But yeah, that's the Live Unlimited journey so far. We definitely only just scratched the surface. We're only in the UK at the moment. We've got, like I said, our own D2C, but we also sell onto Marks and Spencer's, John Lewis, and Next. The customer, a little bit about her. So she's age between 40 and 65, and our average dress size is about a size 22, but we start at a size 12 and go all the way up to a size 28, because we know that there's so many different body shapes and we want everyone to be able to wear Live Unlimited. And just finally a little bit on the product. So we're not about fast fashion at all. Staying true to our manufacturing roots, we just make sure that every garment is designed to last. It's made to the best it can possibly be. We buy sustainable fabrics wherever possible. And we're really just wanting to make sure that Live Unlimited is that small part of a woman's wardrobe, which she'll just keep going to season after season, year after year, and that she'll keep going back to.
Lauren, tell us a little bit about like the experience with kind of moving from Magento over to Shopify. Like what was the team at that stage? What size of the team? What did you have? What were the challenges that you had at that stage with the early iteration of the site, and even the move to Shopify initially? What were you finding was working and not working?
Yeah, I mean, look, at that stage, there was probably only 5 or 6 of us really. And that includes like design and lots of different areas. So it was myself and one other person who decided to move from Magento to Shopify. I think just Shopify is really useful for startups, but also for bigger brands. You can scale on Shopify, which is why we're so drawn to it. The payment pages are really simple. Nobody could like get hacked into them, for example. We didn't need a huge development team. As a small brand, we couldn't afford to have a developer on site. The joys of working with Shopify is that we could work with like Brave the Skies, who were able to support us on like a retainer basis, and it's not going to cost a crazy amount of money. We could have an app. There was just so many different options. We could see analytics very easily. And from just myself working on the website then, it just meant that I could easily see things without having to have a really big team. Obviously, as we've grown, the team's grown with it, which is really exciting, but it just gave us lots of options and yeah, really useful for a startup brand.
And the growth that you've seen as well, like I think it shouldn't go unnoticed. I think the title of this is the growth of one of the fastest growing brands in the UK. Yeah. And I think I was actually just doing the Google search in preparation for this. And if you type in Live Unlimited and news, you just go in and you just see these endless articles about you guys and how you're kind of smashing it at the moment. So tell us a little bit about what's driven that and how you've managed to kind of scale the brand over the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the marketing director, so I'm obviously going to be saying it's the marketing, but it's obviously not just the marketing. But we've grown the product massively. Years ago, it was very, very small. We just maybe 10, 15 pieces in the collection. We now have a range of nearly 100 options per month. We've really just tapped into that our customer. We're very customer centric. Whatever she wants, we want to give her it. So things like petites, where she said she wants some casual product, where she said she wants occasion wear. We've really just looked into what she needs, because that's what we want to do. Our mission is to make every woman feel confident, and we need to find out what issues she has and address them and give her product that's going to make her feel amazing. We're very fortunate to have launched with some amazing partners as well. So we launched in John Lewis in 2020. We launched on Next the year before, 2019, and then we launched on Marks and Spencer's last year, which has been really good. And I think that the team spends so many hours making sure the fit of the product is the best it can possibly be. Whether you've got big boobs, a big tummy, or a big bottom, we want to make sure there's clothes that are going to flatter your frame. And because of that, we have a very high retention rate, and our returns are low, which I know are two factors within fashion that really do affect the bottom line and the growth. And we're very proud of the fact that we have customers who are just appreciative. We've also invested a lot in customer care. We've got an amazing customer care manager called Debbie, who will speak to our customers on the phone. And it's just about being customer centric, looking at every area of the business, and I guess understanding your niche and where you sit in the market and growing that.
Yeah, you use the phrase kind of, we listen to the customer a lot there in that answer. So how do you do that? How do you actually listen to her? How does she communicate with you? How do you find out information about her?
Yeah, I mean, she's a very vocal customer. She loves Facebook. She'll love messaging us, telling us when something's good and when something's bad. She loves nothing more than saying, "Oh, this should have had a longer sleeve," or something like that. But we speak to the customer in so many different touch points. So social media is really big. Customer care, we've got a phone line. That was something that was important to us with the redesign. Our customer just sometimes wants to speak to someone on the phone. We do customer surveys quite regularly, asking what they're struggling with, and just any possible touch points, really. I mean, the customer surveys we do through Klaviyo, which are really good, just to find out more about what we can do better to give her what she wants to maximise her confidence, I guess.
Great. That's really good. Steph, I'll turn to you. When did you join Live Unlimited, and what did you find?
Yeah, so I joined the business last March. So as Lauren said, kind of walking into a website that was designed by a friend of a friend's ex-boyfriend, it was a bit of a minefield for me to pick out, what needed to be improved. And I think, it was in need of a much needed facelift. I think, as Lauren's already mentioned, we're a really passionate team, and what we do with our product and what we make for our customers and how we make them feel. It wasn't messaged across the site to our customer. And so, we wanted to give the customer more of a route to learn more about our brand, and that is most definitely more visible now in search and just across the site completely. I think one of the most important things was our size guide visibility, just giving the customer confidence in what size is right for her, and then if she's new to the brand, giving the customer those touch points of contact as well, as Lauren's already mentioned, just picking up the phone, launching a chat, which isn't run by a chatbot, as we said. We do sit really closely with our customers and try and help them at every step of the way. Enhancing the imagery. We were kind of constricted to a few images in a carousel. They weren't elevated or kind of lifted out of the page enough, and flexibility. As Lauren said, we are still a small team, so we wanted to ensure that we're able to use Shopify to its maximum potential and put our content wherever we wanted to, and get that message across as easy as possible.
How do you storytell? Like is there much digital storytelling on the site at the moment, or how do you, if you're doing it, how do you do it? How is it like? What's the team structure behind the site in order to make sure that you're taking advantage of all the technologies?
Sure, is that one for me? I
Yep.
can cover that one. Sure. Yeah. So I guess in terms of the storytelling, I mean, even just having Debbie on hand to talk about what our kind of customer, what our brand is. We do have, a much more kind of interactive about us page that Lauren built. She knows the most about that brand and knows how to communicate that, but equally through our search as well. So, we did newly partner with Klevu off the back of our new redesign, and we're able to really kind of enhance, lift up those collections that we have that maybe have been hidden in a kind of standard text format menu that we used to have. So we're able to really utilize our imagery, video, where we're able to really show the product. And we have had so many compliments about our new imagery and video content around the site as to how that product fits different sizes. We do range from 12 to 28, and she does want to know how it hangs on petite versus normal models. So, and I think it really enhances our brand.
Yeah. What sort of results have you seen then since the relaunch? Like we've done our own kind of review of it. We've got a case study going live on our site soon, actually, about the project and some of the results that we've seen. Obviously, having looked at GA and looked at your kind of your data, but what are you seeing in terms of the improvements to, I guess, navigation, bounce rate, AOV? What sort of stats have you started to see since the changes?
So for us, it was, it's making that fantastic first impression and then moving them through. So I guess the first point of call for us was getting them to add the item to cart. We added quick add onto the collection page. So we did see an increase in our add to cart rate. We also added more imagery into that carousel. So removing that second step to the PDP and just getting them to, we have a kind of splitting customer where she knows what she wants in terms of the size, the print, the style, but is also easily influenced for like new prints. So in order for us to kind of give her the ability to add that product quickly that she knows, but then give her the influence to then click through and explore the images, has worked incredibly well for us in terms of the collection page performance. And then moving on to, if she does move on to the PDP, we have a wear with section, which we've really pulled out. We can put more than one product in there that was on our old site. So we're able to kind of build that full outfit for her. So our wear with functionality has managed to increase our UPT by 6% as soon as we launched, which is fantastic. And then looking on to the kind of the latter part of the journey with our checkout. So kind of really streamlining that process, enhancing the sidecar, both on mobile, has a slightly different design than desktop to make it a bit more easier to read. She's able to see if she's entering a promotion code as a new customer, for example, just giving her a bit more confidence along that journey. And we saw our abandoned checkout drop by 31%. So we're seeing a lot more customers move through our checkout and have a much more positive experience, which was great.
Yeah. What I would add to that is just like our customers deserve this new website. Like before, it was shocking. Not shocking, but just I think when we did our first discovery calls and we just noticed there's so many things which made it difficult for the customer. And look, she's a frustrated customer. She's frustrated that she hasn't been able to find clothes that fit her properly. We want to show her in the easiest format how she can flatter her curves. So like Steph said, improving the PDP, putting sections, like why is this right for you? Can't think of what
minimizing the hurdles, I guess. It's just minimizing the hurdles, just as she shops, because she's already faced those. So it's just giving her the best experience.
Yeah, I think Steph, you did a bit of a review of the current site when you came in and found a lot of the issues. And I think Andy on our side was probably pretty pivotal in identifying some of those usability issues as well, and then being able to come up with a new design. I should give a shout out to Andy, who did a great job.
Absolutely. I think we sat really closely with Brave the Skies on especially in our workshops as well. I think we were really able, and Tracy joined as well, from a brand perspective, and really able to get that message across, and just kind of merging our brand with the kind of best in user experience as well, which, it really helped.
Yeah, from a design perspective as well, we wanted to just make sure it felt very personal. Like, we're a personal brand. Yeah. We want to give her that personal touch, having like handwriting fonts, that different elements that just make you feel that like fluffy, warm feeling, isn't it? A handwriting font, like celebrate yourself. We're here to help.
Andy talks really passionately about that process as well, like internally, and that the idea of the site being very personal to the customer, and having a very, very personal feel. It was execution, design and execution. It worked out really well. I'm conscious that just moving on specifically to Steph, to Klevu, and kind of how you guys are using it. So what's kind of specific to your sector, and how does Klevu kind of solve that, kind of some of those challenges around kind of usability, search, discovery, for your specific customers, and that niche of customer, and how does Klevu solve on that?
Yeah, so I guess some of the challenges we faced was understanding, bottom line, like what the customer was searching for. And then if she did eventually find what she was searching for, how was that performing? So I think one of our main challenges was giving the customer just the confidence in finding that style that will fit and flatter, especially if she's a new customer as well. She doesn't know what product we're offering. So it was really enhancing the search and the predictive search results, etc., to take her to collections and products that really match her search. There's nothing more frustrating than them typing in one word and they're getting a completely different product because the word's featured in the description, for example. For us, it was all about ease and accuracy, and I think it was one of the biggest challenges that we faced, and why we onboarded Klevu.
Yeah, and did you assess kind of other vendors, I guess, or like why did Klevu kind of like? Why was that the one that you chose?
Yeah, I think so. I have worked with Klevu before. So I think for me, I knew that we were able to get a kind of user-friendly and accessible experience with Klevu. And obviously working with Brave the Skies as well, I knew that would make it a lot easier for me to kind of work with, be the middleman and work across both. I knew that it was, especially from my perspective, the back end and the data that we can get out of it was more than we'd ever got out of an out-of-the-box functionality before. So we're able to actually quantify our changes. We're able to see what that conversion rate looks like on our recommendations, our click-through. If we need to alter our trending terms, we can do that just based on the data that we're getting every week. And it was a no-brainer. Like, and also, as mentioned, like just having that control over any typos or any like hard words that the customer is maybe seeing on social for a new product, for example. It just gives the customer a bit more relevancy in what they're searching for, and I knew Klevu could do that.
Yeah, how do you use it on a day-to-day? Oh, sorry, Lauren.
I was just going to add, I would say also from just a small brand perspective, you can monetize how much Klevu is delivering for you. So you can easily see what ROI it's driving and that it's going in the right direction, which is really important when you're growing and scaling a brand.
Yeah, what are you learning from the data, Steph? Like specifically, are you I guess you're in there all day, kind of looking at that kind of customer behavior. So what have you found out about the customer?
So at the moment, I think we're moving into month 3, month 4. We're using the tool. So luckily, it's not just myself that's using it. I think interestingly, we've got the wider ecom and marketing team where I'm elevating the data every week. So I'm actually pushing the data out to the business, and we're able to make either business decisions, whether that's through marketing or through product development. We launched, I think this is our 2nd year on swimwear this year. And so we're actually able to see, is she searching for the word swim or swimwear? I don't know if you go onto a website, like I need to find new swimwear. It's no, I need a swimsuit or I need a bikini, but some actually do search beachwear. So it's understanding the different customers' translations of different products that we wouldn't have been privy to before. So we're able to, quickly bundle those synonyms together and give them the journey that they're after. But in terms of, how we're using the tool and the data, we present it in trade as well. So we can understand, I think, as Lauren said, we can quantify the sales that we're taking, but equally what we're not doing right. We saw a huge spike during our promotion period, both on our recommendations and our search, which was fantastic. And I think it is what is expected. Marketing driving a lot more traffic to the site, and they're also getting a deal. So where we were preparing for that, we had already kind of enhanced our search and recommendations based on that and the stock we had as well. And this isn't just, for me, it's not just manual intervention. We can quickly learn, and Klevu can learn what our customer is clicking on and using as well, which is incredibly helpful for me. So yeah.
Any fascinating nuggets when it came to product development, Lauren? Has it driven kind of decisions around product?
If anybody's from my team's listening, they'll be like, she's going to talk about kimonos. Kimonos. Biggest searching, trending search term at the moment. And I mean, kimonos are a given with curve women. They want something which is lightweight, which can cover them up, not show their arms. It's always trending as number 1 and number 3, either kimono or kimonos. So the design team needs to do more of them. Which is good. It can affect so many things. And number 2 is always wedding guest luck at the moment, and we probably don't have enough occasion wear. So it is going to affect what the product is in the future, because we can see what she's actively looking for, and what. So essentially,
so essentially, some of the stuff that you're seeing in on-site activity is essentially driving both kind of marketing and product development and trading strategy, etc. It's going right through the business.
Yeah, and our conversion strategy as well. So where we're seeing, as Lauren said, certain trending terms, that will influence how we visually merchandise our site as well, depending on, I guess, the number of searches that we get every week as well, especially for our mixed categories, which, are one of our highest converters of new in for those new customers, and shop all, where they have a lot more extensive filters than they used to have as well, in terms of sleeve length, for example, having that as a filter. We're able to, influence how we visually merchandise shop all following what they've searched.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a good way to find out just more about what she wants, because she's searching for it because she wants it and she can't find it. That's why she's searching for it.
Yeah. So what are your plans? Obviously, what are you 3-4 months in using Klevu? Have you any thoughts around how you will kind of use it over the next 6 months, 9 months? You're working with Klevu, I guess, to kind of enhance the experience and learn from them around how other brands are using it and how you can extend its use across the site. Have you any plans about how that might be extended into the future?
Yeah, so I think you've probably guessed how close we sit to the customer and the product, really. So I think the data gives us more insights than we've used ever before in terms of search. So we are taking constantly a mobile first approach. So we're looking at the ways to optimize that journey further, just making, I guess, it a lot more easier to use, preventing those typos, giving her those recommended products, maybe in a different way, whether it is visual, whether it's in text form, that makes it a bit easier to read and just digest on the go. And for us, most importantly, is personalization would be the next step for us. So being able to deliver personalized recommendations and search results based on what they've searched and browsed and shopped, and working with Klaviyo on that is definitely a priority for us going forward.
Yeah. So actually really good opportunity to turn to Klaviyo and how you guys are using that tool. So yeah, just actually I'm quite interested in the team structure. So I guess Steph, you're in the weeds on Klevu and looking at the data. Lauren, since you put in Klaviyo, have you got folks looking at the CRM strategy? I know previously you wouldn't necessarily have had somebody dedicated to it. So how does the team structure now, and how are you working with Klaviyo on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, so we started working with Klaviyo in 2019 when we first moved over to Shopify. But I think that with Klaviyo, we've been able to use it as a very, very small brand to growing. And a few years ago, we didn't have anyone specifically overseeing it, but we now have a CRM who joined us at the beginning of the year, who really just focuses on segmentation, being able to drive as much retention with Klaviyo as possible. So we use it to really just tap into the customer, because there's lots of very different types of customers that we have. We've got customers that, like I say, are a size 12 versus a size 28. They'll shop very differently. And then again, with age, from 40 all the way through to 65, we want to be able to give them as much personalized information as possible on Klaviyo, which is why we employed a CRM at the beginning of the year.
And what's that person's kind of day-to-day look like? That's the CRM person. Like how is she or he working with the tool?
Yeah, so she is on the tool every day, looking at LTV, looking at retention, looking at what pockets of customers need to be served better. Obviously, we try and do the best we possibly can, but we need to look at people who aren't coming back. Why aren't they? What's the reason why? Majority of the time, it's because we've not shown them the product they want, because our product range is so much bigger now. An example of that is petites. We launched petites end of last year after our customers saying they just wanted different leg lengths and different top lengths. So we now have trousers for petite women and dresses, tops and whatnot. With Klaviyo, we were able to identify that there was a pocket of customers who only look at our petite emails. So that to us shows us we need to regularly be communicating to them what is live on petite and how to maybe flatter your curves when you've got a petite frame, but are still plus size. So Klaviyo lets us do all of those. It's a great tool for us. Yeah.
How do you balance that? Because I know email can be viewed very short term in terms of like, driving sales versus the kind of longer term brand building activity that email can kind of provide to you. So how do you balance that kind of driving sales and looking at targets and monthly trading targets? And because we know it's a profitable channel versus that I need to maintain a kind of connection with the customer, maybe at a broader level, but very targeted sales strategy. So how do you balance the two? And I guess that person in CRM must be worked off their feet to try and kind of deal with the various different sales.
Look, it's a balance. I think because also I'm very passionate about all the product. I'm like, just show all the product to everybody. I would happily just have emails going out every day showing what's new. But she'll always say, no, it needs to be targeted, it needs to do that. So it's a good balance between the two of us, I guess. I'd say with like new customers, it's all about storytelling, brand building, telling them who we are and why we are Live Unlimited and explain to them the value in what we do. And also just giving them that confidence. Majority of people that are coming to us haven't been able to be served by other brands, so they're coming to us for a point of difference. So it's about explaining about all the different touch points to do, the fit, customer care, how those two things will be able to help her. And then I guess it's about gradually showing product that's right for her and kind of intertwining with that. I think you have to do brand building and storytelling at so many different touch points. And I guess flows will always help with that, but it is a balance. I don't know if we've got it right, but I think it's going in the right direction. So hopefully we do. But I think it's a struggle for most brands because storytelling is beautiful, but we're here to sell clothes at the end of the day.
Yes.
If we don't sell clothes.
And that bit about kind of building a better relationship, and how's email helped kind of to build that relationship with customers, and what information are you finding out? Like obviously there's a pool of data coming from Klevu, there's a pool of data coming from Klaviyo. Are you seeing the same kind of influences coming from the data in Klaviyo to enable you to kind of influence marketing, trading, product development? Is that data kind of feeding in from both offsite CRM interaction and on-site kind of Klevu interaction?
Yeah, it is. I mean, look, we've got so many different data touch points in Klaviyo, and that's amazing because we're able to analyze so many different areas. For example, back in stock emails, we redesigned the back in stock function when we launched the new website And it's been able to gauge what the demand would be for certain products in certain sizing. So we can easily see, oh, look, are we more fragmented when it comes to these sizes? Do we need to kind of look at that size curve? And then it will kind of help show us pockets of opportunities, I guess, where people haven't been able to get what they want in time, and you can then show them product that they will get in time. And yeah, I think from flows and like I said, brand building, there's lots of things with Klaviyo. There's it all kind of intertwines and lots of data touch points, I guess, but it does affect all areas.
Yeah, very good. Have you guys started to see, like, have you used the Klevu kind of connector yet, or is that in the pipeline?
That was one of my kind of looking ahead tools would be our personalization. We actually had a call about it yesterday, so yeah, soon.
Very good, very good. Okay, I think we're kind of more or less at the end of kind of the questions, or at least the kind of broad topics that we'd hope to cover. We're about 38 minutes in. I'd love to open it up to the floor, because I'm sure there's some kind of things that we've raised on the call or on the chat that might have pricked folks' attention and maybe want to ask further questions that may very well relate to their own brands. I don't know whether anything's been dropped into the chat, but maybe I'll hand over to Amy to maybe field some questions from folks in the audience.
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, everybody. I have been sort of keeping an eye on the chat throughout the webinar. I'm just going to let Mairead from Klevu join, and also George from Klaviyo too. Perfect. So the first one I have is for Lauren and Stephanie. So someone said that they can see you're using Google for the address validation and lookup on the checkout. How is this working for you, and have you had any issues with the level of address data?
Yeah, so good question. At the moment, we've had minimal issues with that, to be honest. I have looked at, since I started and when we were kind of in that redesign process, whether we would implement with any address lookup apps that I've used previously. But the level of issues that we've seen hasn't really been enough to kind of quantify a move on from what we use currently, other than the customer using their work address and they won't be home, or their home address, vice versa. That was the kind of shift for us, was to ensure that we've got chat and phone, just to ensure that, right at the very end of their checkout process, or when they've completed their order, that they're able to contact us and change it ASAP. But no issues with that validation piece at all at the moment.
Amazing, thank you so much. The next question I have is for either Mairead or George, or both. How important is it that your tech stack components integrate with each other, and what are the benefits of this?
I don't mind starting on this one. So yeah, I think it's super important to have a unified view of the customer. So yeah, a bit of a plug for the Klevu and Klaviyo connector, but the Klevu and Klaviyo connector does is essentially allow you to utilize all of the search data that you're collecting on site, and then use that in Klaviyo to send out segmented email marketing campaigns or SMS messages, to really make sure that, those customers that are your highest intent buyers, we know that people who search are 3 to 5 times more likely to convert than any other journey on site, are able to then be retargeted and find the products that they're looking for. And then the other part of the connector is whereby you're able to utilize Klaviyo's segmentation within Klevu's recommendations. So I know Lauren mentioned that she, emails are sent out and people are only engaging with petite emails because they belong to that petite segment. So it's about them, when they're coming back onto site, making sure in those recommendation blocks and in those banners, they're only seeing clothes that are relevant to that segment that they belong to, in which cases is the petite. So yeah, super important that the customer feels recognized and identified, and that the whole journey is personalized, whether on site or how they're then being communicated to offline.
Great. And I would love to, I think that we understand that the value of not having silos in our organization when it comes to people. So think about how like your service team is speaking to your sales team, is speaking to your marketing team. I would kind of see your tech stack a bit like that. Imagine someone's going to your customer help desk and wanting a refund on a product because of a particular issue they had with shipping, logistics, etc. And then you're sending them an email via another platform that's asking them to like repurchase or get them a review. You really need all those different components speaking to each other, because the customer doesn't see you as 6 different pieces of tech. They see you as one brand. And that means that all of those different channels have to speak to each other really, really well. And also you're paying for all of these channels, right? So if you're paying for Klevu and a UGC channel, like there are insights you can gain from all of those. So make sure you're using them.
Yeah, and I just wanted to add, like from a discovery perspective with the Skies, like a lot of research was done on, you know, within our team to ensure that we had that, you know, we are a small team, and to ensure that all of those capabilities, that we had a synergy between them, because, you know, at the end of the day, you know, there'll be 1 or 2 of us managing them, and then we'll be, you know, enhancing them, sending that information out to the team and ensuring that we kind of all get a really good understanding of what these tools can do when they're all under one roof.
Yeah, I would add something to that as well. It's just from my experience of working with brands, and I've been doing this a long time, is that a lot of brands do tend to jump towards the tech as being the solution to a particular problem, without necessarily understanding maybe the root cause of the problem and how the tech can actually solve it. And then the other thing that I find as well is the tech could get put in, but there's no resource against the tech. In other words, there's no folks actually working with the technology. And therefore you have a situation, and I suppose Klaviyo at that time probably was the right call, Lauren, but you basically probably spent about 5 years just emailing and blasting out, you know, the same email to everybody.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. And so like, you know, while that's a great starting point, the investment in somebody with an expertise in CRM suddenly is able to drive a multiple in terms of revenue from that channel. Once you get somebody starting to really look at flows, look at the customer, look at how he or she likes to be communicated to, getting really detailed in terms of your segmentation. So once you start looking at the data and you start to build segments, and then you start to build flows and communication protocols around how you want to communicate with those individual customers, then you get to see an exponential growth. And it's the same with Klevu, I guess. Steph, if Klevu was just let run, it would do a job. But the fact that Steph is in there, she's able to get all that data from it, and it's able to feed into multiple different parts of the organization, and you're able to really take advantage of the technology. So for me, the technology is just the starting point. And it's great to integrate it, and it's great to have a great tech stack, as George said, and they all need to be kind of talking to one another. But if you don't have people looking at them and working with them, then you won't really get the benefit of putting them in the first place.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you so much. We've had one more question in the chat as well. So do your partnerships with the stores, John Lewis, M&S, etc., generate any data or customer leads for you? And if so, how? And how do you integrate them into your marketing?
I'll answer this one. Is that all right, Steph? Yeah. I think that John Lewis stores probably helps us the most in terms of we can quite easily see where our customer is positioned in terms of in the country. And look, it's interesting again because we get very different sales results from in stores versus online, and we can see, oh, is it because she can visually see it like a texture? She can see some more details than she can online, and then that helps us educate what we need to do in terms of our marketing strategies to try and increase sales on those particular SKUs. Specifically with occasion wear, I think when you see occasion wear in real life, you can see the value of it. You can see how beautifully made it is, how there's all these details to make sure it's the best possible fit. But trying to get those online is more difficult. I mean, the new website is 10 times better than what it used to be, but it's about making sure we can elevate the site as much as possible, and whether it's like adding in extra detail shots to help have the same sales reaction online versus in store.
Perfect. Mairead, what are some of the key quick wins you'd give to brands to focus on in the fashion and lifestyle verticals?
Perfect. So yeah, I think Live Unlimited have done this amazingly on site. So I think the UX is really important. So they've made a fantastic job working with Braid the Skies on kind of the visuals of search. So upon activation, showcasing like what the popular kind of keywords are on site that people are searching for, and then showcasing popular collections, but also having that content too, for making sure that people are able to find things like delivery information, returns information, and making it just as accessible as possible. I also like the importance of pushing kind of highly relevant results, and the fact that you can search on multiple keywords. So searching by things like not just dress, but occasion dresses. So you can really get detailed and refine the types of results that you're wanting to see. And I also think personalization is key. So really recognizing that customer throughout the journey and making sure that you're showcasing, the products that they're wanting to really find and discover.
Thank you, Mairead. And one for George. We have basic automation set up on Klaviyo, and it's going well so far. What's next?
Good question. I mean, so basic automations for me is like abandoned cart, win back flows, your abandoned browse. Maybe you've got pop-ups, you're testing those, you're kind of getting a feel for what Klaviyo can do outside of that kind of newsletter or long form. I think you want to look at like how your customer is interacting with your brand. Where are they coming from? Where's the biggest source of leads you're getting? And see if you can tap into that information. So for example, with Live Unlimited, you said that they're a very active Facebook customer, right? They're very, very loud about what they love and what they don't like. So potentially you could look at trying to integrate your Facebook using lead ads, or you could try and find maybe lookalike audiences from your VIP customers and then actually try and reach them through a Google ads or Facebook ads integration. So that would be a really good place to start, because you're using that rich first party data, but you're then powering your ads with it, which makes you more effective. It's probably a cheap way to go after that ideal customer. Beyond that, I would look at like pop-ups, for example. We worked out in a survey recently that you can add additional 5 questions to your pop-ups before you start to see a drop off in the number of customers are signing up to your newsletter. Now that kind of shocked me. It went, well, I say shock's the wrong word. It surprised me. It goes against the commonly held belief that people don't want to give you information up front. Now, there are things like that, which are really good ways to capture rich information about a customer that maybe you didn't have, that now you can use to market with.
Thank you, George. And does Klaviyo connect with Facebook?
Yeah, it's easy. It's easy. You can do it. Google Ads, Facebook.
We've even done it, and it was quite easy for even myself to do it. So, and I'm not.
Yeah, the 2 ways you would do it would be take your VIP audiences that you have, that really, that customer segment that buys from you every 6 months or whatever the VIP means to you, and then try and replicate that through lookalike audiences on Facebook or Google Ads. So that's one way you're basically saying, okay, you want to find similar customers but don't exist in Live Unlimited or your brand's audience already. And the second one would be using lead ads to basically take data off Facebook and then use that to target on Klaviyo. So like cross-channel retargeting. So maybe their audience isn't actually responding to your email, SMS, they're not responding to push notifications, and maybe you want to like get that person on Facebook and you want to kind of reach out to them on a different channel. Can be very effective.
Brilliant, thank you. And the last question we have, this one is for Mairead. What's so great about the Klevu and Klaviyo connector?
Perfect. So yeah, I think I just mentioned some of them, but yeah, being able to use search data for segmentation, being able to do abandoned search, and then also using all of that segmentation back on site through recommendations, specific targeting.
Fabulous.
I think I'd love to add to that, because I think when I first started working in ecom, the development teams and the marketing teams were basically separate beasts. You didn't really have, as a marketer, any control about what the front end of your website would look like. And that wasn't really a choice you had on maybe working with other platforms either. You had to go through a longer development process. Okay, we want to change this the way the PDP looks, the PLP looks. Now with like this Klevu connector, you can say, okay, we've got this segment, we can market to them, but now we can actually show that segment a different view when they come to our site as well. So actually as a marketer now, you're having control about what that product page looks like. I think that's a very new way of working.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. That is all of our questions. So I will hand back over to Stephen just to wrap up.
Yeah, I actually have one more question just before we wrap up, and it's for Lauren and Steph. Folks, how do you see kind of like the next 6 months? How's trade been? How do you forecast trade over the summer period? How do you see it heading into peak? Do you have any goals associated with kind of the business over the next 6 to 12 months?
Yeah, I mean, look, we're growing, but it's tough. I think a lot of brands would probably say the same thing. The weather has not done what we want it to do. It is miserable in London today. So look, it is really tough, and we are so grateful that we are still growing, but we definitely know that we could go bigger. I think in the next 6 months, it's trying to continue reducing the amount we mark down. We do not want to be a markdown business at all. We buy really, really tight anyway, because we want to sell everything full price and hardly have any sale. But look, the nature of the industry, we will be having a sale, which was launching tonight. So if any of you like prompts this evening, everybody.
Anybody who think I planted that question and I didn't?
Yeah, I don't even will. But reducing markdown, and then after 6 months, we want to go international. We're launching in the States this autumn with a well-known department store, which is super exciting. So that's the next step for Live Unlimited.
And is that going to follow an international strategy from an e-com perspective? Are you seeding that with department stores over in the US first with a view to moving international online?
Yes, yeah. I'd love to say it was very strategic and sophisticated, but it's not. We know that America will be amazing for Liv. We've gone out there and the buyers love the range, so I think it's going to be perfect. So I think at the moment, doing a wholesale deal is the simplest way for us, with the view that we've got to launch internationally in the next 6 to 12 months, which is super exciting. And it'll be exciting what demand is there in America.
Yeah, and actually, just to talk to that, you've got some great tools on site and Shopify as well to enable that. Like, that's not going to be complicated for you to actually roll that out. The marketing, obviously, and the customer acquisition side of it, that's one bit, but actually the technology, the underlying technology stack that you've got there will certainly enable that fairly easily.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I've gone international with other brands, and I think this is, working with Shopify Plus on this is, should make things a lot easier. And I think looking forward, as you said, to the next 6 months, it is just enhancing our apps and our general tech stack and working closely with those that we work with already, and just see how we can further enhance and optimize what we're currently using.
Yeah, staying true to ourselves. It is very, very tough out there, and I think we've got to try and just stick to what we're doing and just continue doing that, I guess.
Look after the customer. Customer, number one. Yeah. Okay. That's great. Folks, I think with 5 minutes to go, I think we're done. I'd like to thank Lauren and Steph, Mairead and George, and everybody that's helped to put the webinar on today. Like I say, I hope you enjoy the brunch, those that have lucky enough to get a hamper. And absolutely, like check out our individual websites, Klevu, Klaviyo, the Live Unlimited site, and also check out bravetoskies.com. The Live Unlimited case study is winging its way to the front end in the next week or so. So thanks everybody, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you.